ক্লিক করুন অ্যাপের বেল আইকনে আর সাবস্ক্রাইব করুন এবিপি আনন্দ। সব সময় থাকুন খবরে।
আমরা এবার সরাসরি চলে যাব রাহুল গান্ধী, তিনি ভিডিও কনফারেন্স করছেন, আমরা দেখে নেব সেই ছবি।
But when you see what is happening around you, both with businesses and with the masses, it is certainly more bitter than sweet. So every day brings a new learning on how to cope with this, whether in terms of business, in terms of one's own emotions, in medical terms.
It's quite surreal. I mean, I don't think anyone imagined that the world would be locked down in this way. I don't even think during the World War, the world was locked down. I think even then things were open. So it's a unique and devastating sort of phenomenon.
But I will say this, that I have friends and family starting from Japan because of our association with Kawasaki, people I know in Singapore, people I know in so many places in Europe, and people in the US, of course, close friends and family in New York, in Michigan, in DC. And when you say the world has never been locked down like this, India has been locked down, what I have referred to as a draconian lockdown. This kind of lockdown I'm not hearing about from anywhere else. All my friends and family living across the world have always been free to step out, to take a walk, to go and buy something they require, to go and visit someone and say hello. So in terms of the social and emotional aspects of this lockdown, they seem to have been in a much better place.
And it came suddenly also. So you came in suddenly. And the shocking thing to me, frankly, the point you made about the bittersweet. Look, well-off people can deal with this type of a situation. They live at home. They have a ecosystem which is comfortable. But what it's been for the poor people, for migrants, it's completely devastating. They've lost confidence, actually. काफी लोगों ने मुझे बोला कि बिल्कुल भरोसा खो गए हैं, भरोसा ही नहीं बचा. And that I think is a very sad thing and a dangerous thing for the country.
And I think right from the beginning, this is my view, whether it was in terms of how this problem was to be perceived. I don't understand why, despite being an Asian country, we sought not to look at what was happening east, but we looked at Italy and France and Spain and the UK and subsequently the US, which are really not the right benchmarks in any sense, whether it's by inherent immunity, temperature, demography, predisposition to thrombosis, etc., everything that the scientists and doctors have spoken of. We should never have been looking there, even in terms of how to approach this from a medical point of view, starting with the bogey of medical infrastructure. We are all aware that there can be no medical infrastructure that can be adequate to combat something like this. But nobody was willing to explain the maths to us that we are so many people, and if so many are vulnerable, 5% or whatever it is, this is what that number looks like, and this is how we are preparing ourselves, or perhaps we cannot prepare ourselves. Maybe that's not a politically appropriate thing to say. But, as Narayan Murthy always says, when in doubt, disclose. I think we have fallen very short of disclosing facts, logic, and the truth. And this has then got amplified and instilled such an enormous fear in people that people seem to think that the contagion is equal to a contagious cancer or something. And now to change the mind of people and bring them back on board and make them comfortable with the thought of, quote unquote, living with the virus, which seems to be the new narrative coming from government now, it's going to take a long time. What do you feel? This is how I have seen.
I was speaking to some experts and some specialists, and right in the early days of the lockdown, one of them told me, and which stuck in my mind, which he said, look, realize that the moment you apply a full lockdown, you're changing the nature of the disease. You're moving from a non-fatal disease to a fatal disease in the minds of people. And once you've done that, then to reverse that, that is going to take significant amount of time, and it's going to take a lot of effort. And he also said that, look, don't view the lockdown as a on-off switch. It's not going to be an on-off switch, because once you have moved into a lockdown, switching it off again, it's not going to be easy. It's going to be extremely complicated.